Zombie games never go out of style, especially when done well. The thrill of surviving a zombie apocalypse, scavenging for resources, and facing hordes of the undead is something PS4 and PS5 players can't get enough of. Whether you like fast-paced action or slow-paced horror, there is a zombie game for every type of gamer in this video of the best zombie games guaranteed to get you an adrenaline rush on PS4 and PS5. There's something about the open roads and hordes of freakers that makes Days Gone stand out. You get to play as Deacon St. John, a drifter and bounty hunter, as he tries to survive in a post-apocalyptic world filled with zombie-like creatures. What really set this game apart are the massive hordes that can swarm you at any moment, making every encounter a mix of panic and adrenaline. The game also gives you a deep sense of survival with its bike mechanics, where you need to maintain and upgrade your ride as you explore the vast world. Story-wise, it's surprisingly emotional, delving into loss, loyalty, and hope amidst the chaos. And trust me, once you master taking down a freaker horde, it's one of the most satisfying feelings in gaming. If you're in the mood for a zombie game with a bit of everything, action, survival, and a good story, Days Gone is a solid pick. With Resident Evil 2 Remake, it's like they took everything we loved from the original and turned the horror up a notch. The reimagined Raccoon City is grittier, darker, and the zombies, well, they're straight up terrifying. The Onion Claire's campaigns feel fresh yet familiar, and the way the game uses sound, like the slow, haunting footsteps of the relentless Mr. X, keeps you on edge. The remake nails the survival horror atmosphere, with limited ammo and supplies forcing you to think twice before pulling the trigger. The puzzles, exploration, and tense combat bring back the classic Resident Evil feel, but with modern visuals and mechanics that make you feel brand new. If you ever thought, what if parkour and zombies were a thing? Then Dying Light has you covered. This game is all about survival in the city of Haran, and it nails the feeling of desperation as you scavenge for supplies while dodging zombies. What really sets it apart though is the parkour system. Running, jumping, and climbing your way through the city feels so fluid, it turns every chase into a high-stakes thrill ride. Inspired by the movie of the same name, World War Z throws into chaotic, large-scale battles against massive zombie swarms. What I love about this game is how it emphasizes teamwork. Whether you're in New York, Jerusalem, or Tokyo, you and your squad need to strategize and defend against relentless waves of zombies. The zombies in World War Z don't just stumble around, they rush at you in huge numbers, climbing over each other to breach your defenses. Frank West is back, and this time the chaos is bigger than ever. In Dead Rising 4, Frank's big package, you're thrown back into the mall setting, but now you've got more creative ways to slice, smash, and explode your way through hordes of zombies. The over-the-top weapon combinations are still one of the series' most fun features. You can craft weapons that are as ridiculous as they are deadly. While the game doesn't take itself too seriously, that's kind of the charm. It's about having a blast in the most absurd zombie apocalypse you can imagine. Zombie Army 4 Dead War is pure undead carnage. It's the kind of game where you grab a few friends, load up your weapons, and dive into a war against nasty zombies. And yes, it's as wild as it sounds. The game amps up the action with tons of customizable weapons, insane enemies, and some truly grotesque zombie designs. The co-op mode is where this game really shines, offering intense moments where teamwork is essential to survive. If you're a fan of Call of Duty's iconic Zombies mode, Zombies Chronicles is like a greatest hits album of all your favorite maps. It takes the classic maps from previous games like Kino der Toten and Ascension and remasters them with updated visuals and mechanics. What I've always loved about the Call of Duty Zombies mode is the mix of horror, strategy, and pure chaos. Whether you're trying to figure out the hidden Easter eggs or just survive as long as possible, the intensity never lets up. I never thought a game about plants fighting zombies could be so much fun, but Battle for Neighborville proves me wrong. This game is colorful, goofy, and surprisingly deep when it comes to gameplay. You can choose to play as either the plants or the zombies, and each side has a wide variety of unique characters, each with their own abilities and playstyles. It's not just about the quirky humor, there's actual strategy involved in mastering each character's strengths and coordinating with your team. If you're in the mood for some lighthearted chaos, Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2 is the perfect blend of humor, action, and strategy. It takes the quirky charm of the Plants vs. Zombies franchise and ramps up the fun with competitive multiplayer battles. You gotta choose between a wide variety of plants and zombies, each with its own unique abilities, and the colorful maps make for some pretty wild fights. The emotional roller coaster that is Telltale's The Walking Dead Season 1 is unlikely any other zombie game out there. Instead of focusing on action, it dives deep into the story and the relationships between its characters. You play as Lee Everett, tasked with protecting a young girl, Clementine, as you navigate a world falling apart from the undead. What makes this game truly unforgettable is how your choices shape the story. Every decision feels weighty, and by the end, you'll be emotionally attached to the characters in ways you didn't expect. Capcom knocked it out of the park with the Resident Evil 4 Remake. They took everything that made the original a classic and added modern visuals, smoother controls, and an even more terrifying atmosphere. Playing as Leon Kennedy, you're tasked with rescuing the president's daughter from a mysterious cult, but of course, there's no shortage of mutated enemies and gruesome zombies along the way. You know, Call of Duty had to make this list with its iconic Zombies mode, and Cold War delivers big time. The Zombies mode in this game is all about fast-paced action, teamwork, and figuring out the perfect strategy to survive increasingly difficult waves of the undead. The maps are intricate, filled with Easter eggs and secrets to uncover, and the addition of new weapons and power-ups keeps the gameplay fresh. After what feels like forever in development, Dead Island 2 finally delivers its unique brand of zombie-slaying fun. Set in a sun-soaked, post-apocalyptic California, the game balances dark humor with brutal combat. You have plenty of creative ways to take down zombies, from crafting ridiculous weapons to using environmental hazards to your advantage. The RPG elements are a nice touch too, allowing you to level up, unlock skills, and customize your playstyle. Left Alive is an interesting mix of survival, stealth, and action set in a war-torn world crawling with hostile enemies, including some nasty undead. While it leans more into tactical gameplay rather than the typical zombie shooter, it still has plenty of moments that will keep you on edge. You need to be smart about how you approach situations. Direct combat isn't always the best option, so sneaking around and using traps can be key to survival. Sometimes you just need a zombie game that's pure, unadulterated chaos, and Killing Floor 2 delivers exactly that. That is a fast-paced, co-op zombie shooter that's all about mowing down waves of grotesque zombies with your friends. The game's variety of weapons and classes means you can experiment with different playstyles, whether you're a gunslinger or prefer getting up close and personal with a melee weapon. The enemies are tough, especially as you progress through the waves, but that just makes victory even sweeter. Resident Evil Village blends horror and action in a way that keeps you hooked from the very first moment. After the events of Resident Evil 7, you find yourself in a creepy European village filled with terrifying creatures, including zombies, werewolves, and other mutated horrors. The atmosphere is incredibly tense, with tight corridors and open fields that make every encounter feel dangerous. The game's visuals are stunning, bringing the eerie world to life with a mix of gothic and modern elements. For something a bit more lighthearted but still packed with zombie-killing fun, Death Road Canada is an indie gem that delivers endless laughs and surprises. In this roguelike, you control a group of survivors trying to escape the zombie apocalypse by driving from Florida to Canada. The game is random every time you play, so no two runs are ever the same, with bizarre events and hilarious situations popping up regularly. Undead Horde gives you a unique twist on the zombie genre by putting you in control of the undead army instead of fighting against it. You play as a necromancer tasked with raising the dead and leading them into battle against living enemies. The game mixes action, strategy, and RPG elements, allowing you to upgrade your necromancer, gather powerful loot, and command larger and stronger undead hordes as you progress. In Metal Gear Survive, you're thrown into an alternate dimension filled with zombie-like creatures known as Wanderers. This game takes the core elements of the Metal Gear franchise, like stealth and tactical gameplay, and combines them with survival mechanics to create a unique zombie experience. You need to scavenge for resources, build defenses, and fend off waves of undead as you try to survive in this harsh world. 7 Days to Die is the ultimate survival experience for zombie fans, mixing elements of crafting, building, and intense combat. Set in a massive open world, the game challenges you to survive for as long as possible while scavenging for resources, building fortifications, and fending off waves of zombies. What makes it even more intense is the game's day-night cycle. During the day, the zombies are slow and manageable, but when night falls, they become faster, stronger, and deadlier. If you want a truly hardcore survival experience, Project Zomboid delivers in spades. This game throws you into a world overrun by zombies with one simple objective: survive for as long as you can. It's brutally difficult, with realistic mechanics like hunger, thirst, and fatigue playing a big role in your survival. The game features a massive open world where you can scavenge for supplies, craft weapons, and build a safe house to protect yourself from the undead. If you're looking for a mix of supernatural adventure and zombie shooting fun, Strange Brigade is a wild ride from start to finish. Set in the 1930s, you and up to 3 other players take on the role of adventurers battling ancient undead hordes, mystical creatures, and cursed spirits. The game is full of action-packed firefights, but is also sprinkled with puzzles and exploration that make it more than just a typical zombie shooter. Dead Nation Apocalypse Edition is a top-down zombie shooter that brings non-stop action with hordes of undead coming at you from every angle. Set in a post-apocalyptic world, you and your friend, in co-op mode, fight through waves of zombies, each level becoming more intense as the game progresses. The environments are dark and gritty, adding to the tense atmosphere, but what makes it exciting is the array of weapons and upgrades at your disposal. From shotguns to flamethrowers, you can customize your loadout to mow down the undead in satisfying ways. From something totally unique and a little quirky, Stubbs the zombie in Rebel Without a Pulse flips the zombie genre on its head by letting you play as the zombie. Set in a 1950s retro-futuristic city, you play as Stubbs, a lovable undead anti-hero on a mission to wreak havoc on the living. What makes this game stand out is its humor and charm. Instead of simply eating brains, you can control NPCs by turning them into zombies, hoard your own organs as weapons, and even possess people's bodies. Building on the foundation of the original, No More Room in Hell 2 takes cooperative zombie survival to a whole new level. It's an incredibly atmospheric game where you and a group of survivors are up against waves of relentless zombies in a variety of different environments. The game emphasizes teamwork and strategy over raw firepower, as ammo is scarce, and you often find yourself scavenging for supplies and barricading doors to keep the undead at bay. The tension ramps up fast, especially during the game's holdout moments, where you and your team need to defend a location while being overwhelmed by zombies. The Last of Us Remastered is not just one of the best zombie games, but one of the best games of all time. The story-driven adventure puts you in the shoes of Joel, a hardened survivor, as he escorts a young girl, Ellie, across the post-apocalyptic United States. The world has been ravaged by a fungal infection that turns humans into zombie-like creatures, and while the infected are terrifying, it's the human interactions that make this game so impactful. Following the groundbreaking success of the first game, The Last of Us Part 2 pushes the boundaries of storytelling and gameplay even further. This time you play primarily as Ellie, now older and hardened by the events of the first game, as she embarks on a deeply personal journey through a world still overrun by infected and violent factions. The combat has been refined with a greater emphasis on stealth, crafting, and environmental interactions, making every encounter feel intense and unpredictable. The infected are as dangerous as ever, but the human enemies bring a new level of challenge with their advanced AI. For fans of fast-paced, co-op zombie shooters, Back 4 Blood is a blast from start to finish. Developed by the creators of Left 4 Dead, this game captures the same frantic, action-packed energy but with modern updates and new features. You and your friends or AI teammates team up to take on waves of ridden, zombie-like creatures that come at you in overwhelming numbers. The variety of enemies from fast-moving hordes to towering special effected keeps the action fresh and intense. What sets Back 4 Blood apart is its card system, which lets you customize your character's abilities and playstyle for each mission. So, did you like the games I recommend? So leave your like, subscribe to the channel to follow me and activate the bell, because I post a lot of videos on this channel and you can't miss it. Thank you very much for following me this far, and until next time. Bye!